Speaking of colorism, we gonna get into the relationship advice.
Oh yeah, relationship advice. I don't even, what is these other drops that we got in here? Hold on. I gotta use that more. All right, let's go.
All right, so today's relationship advice. My girlfriend's dad discouraged me from proposing because their family isn't thrilled about us having dark babies. Backstory. Me and my girlfriend are an interracial couple, with her being Korean and me being Black. We have dated for just under 5 years now. And
hold on. So Korean girl, Black male.
Black man.
Okay, got it.
And for the past few months.
5 years?
5 years.
Okay.
And for the past few months, I've been planning on proposing. I'm pretty traditional, so I thought it would be a good idea to ask her dad for his blessing before I proposed. I asked earlier this month. When I arrived at their house, I was greeted by her mother and father, who invited me in. After a little talking, I told them that I was going to propose and wanted their blessing. Her mother was ecstatic and her father didn't seem displeased, and he told me it was okay for me to propose. We talked more and the topic of babies was brought up by her mother. I told her that I wanted to have kids with her and she got even happier. We continued talking. When I told them I needed to start heading home, her mother said she would send me home with some food and left for the kitchen. Me and her dad have a small language barrier between us that usually is alleviated by either my girlfriend or her mother. So we kind of just sat there in silence. He then told me this: I'll clean it up, but it was difficult to understand as he isn't great at English. You are a very nice young man and we like you a lot. We'd be happy to have you in our family, but we are not too happy about you and her having dark babies. I was stunned and kind of just awkwardly laughed. We sat there for another 2 minutes before her mom came out with the wrap plate. When I got home, I said nothing about this to my girlfriend. I know I need to talk to her about what was said, but I don't want to be the one that accuses her father of being racist. And I know this is probably irrational, but the way her father said it put the thought in my head that she may not want kids because of how dark I am. How do I approach her about this in the least accusatory way as possible?
Accusatory? Okay, I'm gonna let you answer this first.
First of all, it absolutely needs to be addressed. And I don't think there's any other way to address it other than saying what he said. Like, say what he said.
How is it accusatory? I don't understand.
How is that accusatory? Like, your dad said this.
Yeah.
And I would want to know her views on it.
Yep.
Because that's what's you're gonna be in the relationship with her. But on the other end of the spectrum, if y'all have kids, the grandparents are going to be involved. So I think this is just something that you deal with being in an interracial relationship. You're probably going to have to deal with anti-Blackness from the non-Black family members, and you're going to have to try and balance that out somehow. That's not something I would want to do personally. Because I don't know. I don't know if, for me, it's like when you marry somebody, you marry into their family too.
You are.
And that's big for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not saying that I would just totally X a person out for that, for their family or their family structure, but it's big in consideration.
Yeah. To me, this is simple, man. I don't understand. It's not accusatory. It's what happened.
Exactly.
Like, you're making it seem like it doesn't have to be like, hey, I think your dad is racist. No. Hey, like, when you were out the room, me and your dad had a conversation, and he said that he did not want to have dark children as his grandchildren. So, for one, have you heard of this? And for two, you can flip it and say, I don't want to assume that it's a racist comment. So can you give me some clarification on what your dad may have meant by that? That's all you had to do. Because it's not, sometimes it's not racism. Sometimes it's colorism. Because in some cultures, the darker you are, which actually I don't even say in some cultures, in most cultures.
Pretty much all of them.
The darker you are, the lower you are on the social economic totem pole, right? So like I had a friend that was Indian, or from India, excuse me. I don't want to say Indian, but from India. And he told me, he said when they would drive around, as hot as it is in India, they would wear hoodies because they would have their elbow out of the car and they did not want their skin to get darker. Because the darker your skin was, then those kids usually lived in the slums. The lighter you are, you're in closer proximity to whiteness. So they equate the lighter your skin is to the more successful you'll be in life. And in Korea, it's the same way.
It's the same way. Pretty much everywhere has colorism.
Right. But you know, and what's interesting is Koreans love black culture. Koreans are really good at fried chicken because of I want to say it's the Vietnam War or some war where blacks went over there and showed them how to do chicken, right? And if I'm getting the war wrong, please forgive me. But we have shown them a lot of our culture. K-pop, breakdancing, a lot of hip-hop elements they have taken on. So they love our culture. But
everybody do.
Everybody does.
Let's just keep it.
So
I said it on the last episode. Like, people's anti-blackness comes from where everybody is not across the board. Like, nobody's immune to anti-blackness.
Correct. So I think sometimes we need to come from a place of understanding. And I think to not be accusatory, just say, hey, I want to understand where your dad is coming from. Like, is there a cultural difference? Is there a cultural background? Is there something that will help me understand why it is that he doesn't want dark children? Because again, it could be more just tied to the culture and how they view their societies, but it could very well be rooted in racism.
Because does he not want dark children, or he just don't want them to look black? Yeah,
and you have to deep dive, and for them to be together for 5 years, and this is the first time this has come up, is kind of scary to me. Like, I think those conversations when you're in an interracial relationship, and if you do get to a serious standpoint, I think you do have to start asking some of these questions, like, you know, what are your parents or what are your family's views on me, like on black people in general? Now, does that mean that that's going to be the say all be all on whether I stay with you or not? Maybe not necessarily, but just like you said, you are marrying into a family. I need to know, am I going to be accepted the same way that my family may accept you? Because black people are very accepting.
Or my children going to be accepted.
Are my children going to be accepted? And
or are they going to be othered?
Yeah. So those are some things before you put 5 years into a relationship. I think those are some things you may have, wanted to bring up earlier. But I mean, I'm glad it's coming up now. But prior to them getting married and before he proposed. But I don't think that. I think sometimes in the search of truth, it may be offensive. It may come across as accusatory, but I just think as long as you communicate that I'm not trying to be accusatory, I don't see how it'll come across as being accusatory. Because again, it happened. It's not like, oh, I think your dad is racist because he looked at me a certain way. No, your dad said something that rubbed me the wrong way. Can you give me some clarification on what it is that he meant by that? And do you feel that way? Because that's the more important thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would have an issue with having darker children? Because
I mean, he even asked that. He said that he was worried that she felt the same way.
And to me, that's kind of like, that's so psychologically like damaging, because it's like, if I'm dark and you're saying you don't want dark children, then what do you think about me?
I mean, you said it. He said it in that. If you
I'm talking about the girlfriend. If she don't want dark children, then what do you think about me?
Yep.
And that's what I'm be saying. I'm not against interracial relationships. I personally couldn't do it. There's just too. I want to say I personally couldn't do it. I prefer black women because a lot of these questions and issues I typically do not have to deal with if I'm dating somebody that understands culturally where I come from, my values, some of the verbiage and the African American vernacular. I don't have to explain these things. There's already an understanding. We're on the same level, and we see the world very much similarly as far as when it comes to coming from our culture. Now, in this situation, it's just that would be a very that would keep me up at night. Like I would want to ask that question as soon as I got home. It wouldn't be no quiet ride home. No, it would have been like, yo, like your dad said something to me, like, and I want to.
Well, she wasn't there.
Oh, she wasn't there?
No, because this was him going.
Oh, he went to go ask for the proposal.
Went to ask. So again, when he got home, he didn't know what to say, and I'm just kind of like, and to me.
See, but I thought it said that she was happy because he asked about children. That was the mom.
The mom.
Oh, that was the mom. Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
See, and you know what? But at the same time, I would think her daughter knows her father. Because I know my mom used to tell me all the time, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. So it wasn't like I knew where my mom stood on that.
You know, I never got that talk. And I feel like, but a lot of boys, my husband has said the same thing. Like a lot of boys, that was really drilled into them by their mama.
From day one.
My mom let me go through my little NSYNC phase and where I had like, all the white boys on my wall and stuff. And she just kind of,
I think it's different for black women though.
I think so?
Men, we have more variety of a choice. There's like 10 women to one man, something like that, something crazy.
I don't know. I think she just kind of let it play out. Like she didn't necessarily give me parameters on. You know what I mean?
No, right. I'm just saying. I think when we're talking about black women and black men, black men have the luxury of choosing to be with a black woman.
I guess
black women don't really have much. You know what I mean? As far as what I'm saying, as far as choosing goes, if there's one man to 8 women,
but I don't think that's why.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but I think. It's that's not the main reason why, but I think that plays a part into it because you see that because black men have more choices, and for the most part, black men do marry black women as far as the percentages go. But as far as marrying out, that we do see that obviously black men marry out at a higher proportion than black women do.
I could believe that. I don't know the statistics, but I believe it.
They do. Black men. I mean. It's again, I think it's 80% of black men are married to black women, so that leaves 20%. And I think like the percentage of black women marrying out, I think it's like I want to say it's like less than 10%. So it's black men do it more, and I think that we see that, right? Okay, and there is some pressures like when you see a black man with the black woman, or black man with the white woman, or black man with the Asian woman. Sometimes they be out in public, and I see it because when I see it, I'm like, oh man.
I hate that. The only thing that I hate.
Because I be seeing black women looking.
No, we don't.
No, they do.
They be looking at me. I don't know what it is. It's like you'll just be sitting there and you'll look over and they looking at you like, bro, I'm not concerned. Like, what is you looking at?
Maybe not you. It's the guilt. I'm telling you. But black women do be looking though.
Oh,
black women do be looking. I'm trying to tell you because my mom be doing it.
I do.
My mom be doing it. But no, you're right. That's not the main reason. I be
like, boo, like, bro, I'm not concerned about you.
I think there's a lot of trauma that comes with that, and I think if we want to be honest, I think the main reason, because back in the day, it could have got you killed. I
think honestly too, like you said, it is ingrained in men from their mother. Don't bring no white girl home, or don't bring no, if you can't use your comb, don't bring her home. So I feel like automatically they have that in their head when they're, it's
guilt. That's what I'm saying.
Right. So like they feel like all black women feel like that or have a problem with it because their own mama had a problem with it.
It is guilty. But like I said, I think, if you just think about Emmett Till, right? Even, looking at a white woman could have gotten you killed. So I think it's kind of like that, trauma from slavery. Like, don't do this because it could equate to you. And
I don't think they're thinking about that, but the parents passed it down. Like, I feel like it's been passed down to us.
That's what I'm saying. It came down the line, and we see it today where we see like with old boy that got killed. What's his name? Was he like a TikToker, like a YouTuber?
And she killed him.
Yeah, we just that whole Get Out kind of thought process that we got, that we know that in some circumstances, I'm not saying all, because at the end of the day, we're all human. And at the end of the day, there's one race, and that's a human race. But there is ethnic differences and things of that nature. So we have seen stories where white women objectify black men and put us in situations that are very compromising and don't really look at us like how our own women would typically value us or care for us, right? Don't put us in situations where they're quick to call the police or quick to do things of that nature, knowing that there are ramifications that will follow that. If you call the police, you are, I'm not saying that you are, but we take it almost like it's a death sentence, that it could be a death sentence. Because if a cop show up, white woman, black man, you already know where they're going to lean to.
And a lot of times they weaponize it, whereas like you'll have black women in a situation where they should call the police
and they don't,
but won't because of,
absolutely.
I mean, not even just, it could get both of us killed.
Yeah.
You never know. You know what I'm saying? So black women are in a position where they probably should be calling police. White women just calling the police because, again, they know that that's a weapon for them.
It's a weapon for them. Absolutely. Yep. And that's not to say all white women, right? There are some white women that are in a relationship and they love their man just as much as anybody would. Because again, at the end of the day, we all are human.
Yes.
But we cannot deny that there are cultural differences, and there is a lot of misunderstanding. So. Yeah, in my home, and I'm not ashamed to say it. My mom, she engraved it for me from day one. If she cannot use your comb, do not bring her home. I remember that to this day. Like, it is engraved in my head. It is engraved in my head.
I honestly, like I said, my husband said the exact same thing.
And I'm gonna lie. Like when I was younger, like even if I talked to somebody outside of my race, I did feel guilty.
And he said the exact. I was just about to say. He said the same thing. He was like, "I dated." He was like, I think he said he brought like like a Mexican girl or something like that, and he was like, it just didn't feel right. He was like,
I never brought anybody home that was outside of.
He was like, yeah, nah. I was like, dang, that's. I mean, I won't say that's. We'll know that is terrible. Like I feel like again, I just feel like it's because if she was a good person, like you know what I'm saying. But I'm just like, dang, like.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm even thinking about it. Like, it was even to the point, like, if I dated you outside of my race, like, I felt guilty going out in public. I really did.
That's crazy.
It was Netflix and chill, and that was it.
I didn't feel, well, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to be all the way honest. I've only been on 2 dates outside of my race. And... that was it. I mean, other than like, elementary school.
No.
All that
I'm talking like about as an adult.
Right. As a after high school adult. Yeah, no.
Yeah. There was one girl that I dated that I was comfortable with, but I for sure wasn't bringing her home.
But I'm going to be real. When I went out, I didn't feel no kind of way on them dates.
One of them I felt, like I said, but we were in San Francisco. So you know how San Francisco is. Bay Area. It's like, it's normal.
I didn't feel no kind of way on those dates.
Nah, man.
And because I feel like it was the beginning of me dating. It was like young, like fresh 18, 19. So it was like, I didn't really care. I was just going on like, oh, he going to take me to Fridays. Like,
you know what? And
I didn't give a damn.
I think there's a difference too when you're dating like a Latina or when you're dating white. White, I felt more guilt. Latina, I'm like, well, at least you still a minority, you know what I mean? Like you Puerto Rican, you Mexican, you know what I mean? It's like you still in the like you a cousin of the family, you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm weak.
You in the same boat as me. But the white, I was like, we can stay at the house.
For me, one was Mexican and the other one was like Afghani. I didn't care.
Yeah, I think for men it's a little bit different, man. Look, hey, comment in the comments if your mama told you don't bring her home if she can't use your comb, man. Comment in the comments, man. I need to see if my childhood was just like that, man.
And I want to know from the women if they were told anything like that as far as like being encouraged not to date outside of their race.
I tell my daughter that. I ain't gonna lie.
You do? I was gonna ask you.
I for sure do. I say the same thing. The same thing my mama told me, same thing I tell her.
Not you passing it down too. I'm weak.
First thing when she talk about a boy, I say, so is he? What is he? Black? What is he? I'll be trying to guess by the name because I don't want to be racist. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be hella like neutral name like Brandon. I'm like, whoa, is he? What is he?
I'm weak.
What is he like listening to? Like, you know,
trying to get some clues.
I try to get the context clues. If I'm like, look, hey, is he black or what? What's going on?
Hey, I don't.
But on the real though, but she did tell me though, she was like, Dad, I like black boys, but black boys aren't really into black girls in my school. I was like, damn, what is wrong with y'all niggas?
And you know
Hold
what's
on.
crazy?
What's wrong with y'all niggas?
Black women been saying that for so long. I can't believe it ain't changed.
Nah, it ain't.
Even in the new climate of, you know, black pride and everything, like, damn.
Nope, not with this generation. Nope.
And you know, I can identify with that because I, especially being dark skinned, like,
well, and
being dark skinned, like, just started coming in style.
And we in California, we don't have the black historic colleges and the heritage like that. We don't have that out here. You have to go down south for that.
And that's when it really changed my perspective of leaving California, moving to Houston. That's when you start seeing like black people, like more community of blackness. You know what I mean? Like everybody's going we all walk to the black church on Sunday. And we're all, you know what I mean? We dating each other. Like we have our own kind of culture, community down there. It's just completely different than where here you have that whole, it's a melting pot mentality.
All over,
You know, everybody with everybody type.
We are very unique when it comes to that. So that's why, like, if you have the opportunity, like, because my family, my mom's side is from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and my dad's side is from Virginia, DMV area. So I know what that looks like because I've seen it. I've seen, like, going to Chocolate City, like, black people everywhere. Going to Fort Worth, Texas, black people everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? To the point where, like, your reputation was based on your last name. Like, they knew you based on, like, oh, like, who you dating? Oh, such and such. What's your last name? Johnson. Oh, no, the Johnsons is all bad. Like, that's how it was. And out here, it is nothing like that. It is nothing like that in California. So maybe in some small knit communities, but for the most part,
Yeah.
So for me, since I'm a little bit on the conservative side when it comes to religion, I kind of want that.
Okay.
Instead of like the open, you don't talk to your neighbor, like kind of separate individualism. Like I kind of want a community where it's majority black people. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. When I first moved down there, it was a culture shock for me. Just initially, like I'll be walking the campus to go do something, and every 2 steps somebody's speaking like they know you, and I'm like, confused because I'm like, where I come from, you could be dying on the street and people gonna keep on walking, like, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of like crazy. Like I'm like, dang, do I know them? Yeah. Like, what's going on? But that's just,
it's a good feeling.
Southern hospitality is just,
it's a good feeling.
Different.
Yeah.
Very.
It makes you feel more connected. You know what I'm saying? So. And I'm not to diss California. I mean, there's some great things about California, but as far as like the Southern hospitality, oh man,
because baby, that was the reason I came back.
Ain't no hurricanes.
As soon as Hurricane Ike, as soon as that airport opened back up, I was like, bye y'all. Let me go back to the covert racism. I can't do this. I'm sorry. And it's crazy because they'll be like, I don't know how you live in California with them earthquakes.